Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our vlog. This is our vlog now.
Our vlog, okay.
Lala and Mama.
Lala and Mama.
Today, I'm looking for a book with a water word in the title. So water, ocean, lake, something.
Yep.
And then the cover I'm looking for is a skyline.
Yep.
Like a horizon. Wait, you know?
I went and looked it up. After you shamed me last month. You shamed me for not knowing.
How are you not up to date with my reading challenge?
I went and looked last night.
Okay, so that's what I'm looking for. I already know what I'm gonna get, but it'll be a surprise to you.
Okay.
And then what do we have to do? We have to update them on our books last time. I did read The Will of the Many. Did you see that?
Yeah.
I loved it. I don't know if you would, but I'll lend it to you closer to when the sequel's coming out.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and then I didn't read anything else, I think, that I bought. What did you read?
I read both the ones that we bought last time.
White Hot Kiss?
White Hot Kiss.
Is that a good time?
I didn't realize it was YA.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was like smut.
The protagonist is a 17-year-old girl.
Oh, that's not what you wanted.
No. I looked and apparently she also writes adult under a different name. So we can look and see if they have any of her.
Okay, great.
The other one was,
Robin Hobb.
yeah, The Assassin's Apprentice. It was good. I can see the appeal, and I can the story from there could just take off in so many different directions, and I can see how it would be like epic.
Maybe the rest borrow from the library rather than buy?
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
But you'd continue?
Sure.
Okay, what are you looking for today?
I don't know.
You have no vibes?
I don't know.
All right. Let's go.
I haven't read a good science fiction in a while,
Oh, okay.
and that used to be like my jam.
What kind of science fiction? Realistic, like someone's just going to like you, The Martian. Like you want Andy Weir science fiction, or you want like aliens?
Yeah.
Do you want erotic science fiction?
Eh.
I've got a book in mind.
Okay. Why are you laughing?
I just read a book called Ice Planet Barbarians. Have you heard of that?
No.
Might be for you.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna buy a book bag. They have cute totes, I think. Look at it.
It has both. The bottom reflection is a cityscape, and the top is not.
Utterly magical.
It's in the fantasy section.
Oh, you're right.
You want to read a dragon book?
Yeah.
A dragon book.
You have a dragon book you think I would like?
Yes.
Oh, interesting. So you read this from Book of the Month, and
Yes.
this is the sequel that just came out.
Yes.
I'm gonna be the unpopular opinion. I actually think I hate the sprayed edges. I don't think I like it.
No?
No, I don't know why. I don't think I like them. Oh, here, dragons. Why is this so big?
Oh my god.
What is that? Have you read Annihilation? People tend to like it. I haven't read like anything. Well, I've read Gideon the Ninth, but I can only tell you what I know other people like. I know a lot of people are talking about this. Mickey 7 just got turned into a movie.
I came into a bookstore without my reading glasses.
Oh no.
Would you please?
The cover is certainly a choice. This is the world in which Zoe finds herself navigating a futuristic city where one can find elements of the fantastic, nightmarish, and ridiculous on any street corner. Will Zoe figure it out in time? Or maybe the better question is, will you? After all, the future is coming sooner than you think. That's not a lot of information. This has a different cover that I really like, and I didn't want this one, but apparently this is the one that I'm getting. We were quick with it today. Okay, here's everything that I ended up with. Watermoon. This is my book club pick for my channel Besties for the month of March. So I'm gonna read it now, and I'm also gonna talk about it live with them in March. King Lear. There's a book coming out on my TBR that is inspired by King Lear, and I can't remember what it is. Someone remind me. Then I got this, which is The Way Up is Death. Doesn't it look interesting? I'm reading it for a video, and then I'll lend it to you, because maybe it's your vibe.
It's inventive, heart-stopping, riotous, and horrifying. We got 4 Ruined Realms by Mike Corland. I got the first one in the Book of the Month Club.
Do you rate books?
Do I rate them?
Yeah, like
I
what
can
would
tell
you
you
rate
if I like them or not.
Okay. I was wondering if you've evolved, if you've changed at all.
If I've evolved.
Not in a good or bad way, just in a way. evolution doesn't mean improving. It just,
It absolutely does.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Evolution can be bad.
No.
Okay. How do I get out of this? I was wondering if you've changed your tune as a reader and you wanted to rate things now.
The first one was 5 Broken Blades, and I could tell when it ended that it was definitely the first one in at least a duology.
Is it like fantasy romance?
Yes.
Romance though? Or just fantasy?
Fantasy first, like fantasy adventure. And then I was looking
Whatever this is.
I was looking for a science fiction, futuristic violence and fancy suits.
Cats and guns.
Yeah, Cats and Guns. Jason Pargin? I read a book years and years and years ago called The Stainless Steel Rat Wants You. I think the author's name was Harry Harrison, but don't quote me on that. It has that vibe. It's irreverent and sassy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I got Blob, a love story, where she turns a blob into a sentient man and then she falls in love with him. And I judged you for your Cats and Guns. Like I said, I don't love a sprayed edge, but this one came with it. This is Death of the Author by Nydia Corafor. Look, George R. R. Martin blurbed it, said this one has it all.
Oh, well.
It's like this author, she's writing a book, and this is the book that she's writing inside the book. And then her writing starts to affect the real world. And she can like change things. That's what Molly, who just checked me out at Mosaic, told me. I didn't know that there was something under here, so. It was very nice to meet you, Molly. Molly Joe, if you're watching. Okay, there's our book haul. The next you'll see from me is me reading something. Okay, I am getting ready to go on a tournament weekend. I have a live show with my channel members to watch The Substance, which I'm so excited to get into, in about an hour, and then we go. We're gonna be gone for a couple nights, and I think I'm just gonna bring one book with me. Sometimes I get really ambitious. Like the last tournament weekend we went on, I brought 3 books. There is a lot of downtime between games and stuff, but just depending on the weekend, it's like there are things planned in between, or like I want to be more social, or I don't really know until I get there. But I'm trying to decide, do I want to bring Magnolia Parks or do I want to bring Watermoon? And I'm leaning towards Magnolia Parks because I can read that a little more passively. Not that I'm not like paying attention, obviously, but there's not that much to really like focus on. It's just like kind of like watching, you know, a season of Gossip Girl. You're just there. You're not really like, let me analyze what's happening in this scene. And with Watermoon, because it is my besties book club pick for March, or for the season, and we're gonna be discussing it in March, I feel like I should probably read that when I have more time to really devote my focus to it and like take notes and all that stuff. So I definitely forgot how big this was. 500 pages. Yeah, no shit, Kayla, you're only bringing one book with you. So this is my plan. I've got Watermoon that has the skyline and water in the title. And then Magnolia Parks is also a skyline. But the rule, in case you didn't watch the first episode, is if I find a book that fits both the word title prompt and the cover prompt, then I read a second book in that video and it's something from a series that I'm continuing. This is definitely calling to me. Oh, and something about Watermoon, forget packing. Something that's so cute about this is it gives you instructions for how to turn the book dust jacket into a little paper boat. I love origami. I'm so bad at it. But I think that's why they printed it like this as well, so it was extra pretty underneath in case you want to do that. My question is anybody doing that? Like, it's kind of just fun for the gimmick. I don't feel like anybody's actually doing it. So I need to know if you are, because there's no way I am. I used to take all the dust jackets off my books and I would just put them on my shelves like that. So that version of me, like 7 years ago, maybe would have. But I'm so curious to know if anybody is doing that. My grandpa, every time we went out for dinner, that's how he would leave a tip, is he would take like a $5 or $10 or $20 bill and he would fold it into a little boat and he would leave it on the table like that. And then if there was any coins, you could put the coins like in the side of the boat. One of my favorite memories of my grandfather, anytime we were out for dinner, was like as we were having dessert, he would just be in the corner folding his little boat. I want to do it, but there's no way I'm sacrificing the dust jacket for that. Anyway, let's officially pack Magnolia Parks. What else am I packing? My new pillow. Yes, indeed. Rob got me the Calvin Klein pillow from Costco. I don't think it's the exact same one that I stole, but it is very similar, and he had to order it online. It wasn't available in person. Everyone's asking me to tell the story about how I stole a pillow, and I just don't think it's that interesting, but I will. In fact, let me tell you the 3 times in my life I've stolen something. I put my pillowcase on inside out. I first stole something when I was, I want to say 12. I went on a Girl Guide trip. This is like the worst part of it. I was with the group of people that we did such good things. We volunteered and we were like supporters of our community. And I stole something on a Girl Guide trip. It was my first trip without my mom. And we went to this little like charm shop where like the whole, it's like this humongous space. I guess when I was younger, it felt humongous. And there's just bins and bins of all of these bracelet charms. And all of my Girl Guide friends were collecting their charms, and they had brought a certain amount of like allowance. So they all got like charm bracelets, and I didn't have any money. And I was like, it would be so easy for me to just pocket a couple of these charms. And so I think I stole like 3 of them, and I just slipped them in my pocket, and I was like, hope I don't get caught. I didn't get a bracelet by the end because I regretted my decision immediately. So I just had like a couple charms, and all the girls were putting their bracelets together, and I never admitted I took anything. And when I got home, I threw it in the garbage. I kept it with me the entire trip, and I felt so guilty the entire time. I threw it away. And finally, just this past summer, we went back to that charm shop. I confronted, I didn't do anything. I bought stuff. I spent my hard-earned money. I don't even know if it's still the same owners or what, because when I remember it being outside, it was like outdoors. I think it was on Granville Island, and now I'm like questioning my own memory. That's the first time I ever stole something in my life, and the guilt ate away at me. The second time I ever stole something was an accident, and that was when Liam was like 3 years old. We went to a store, and we were trying out the Skip Hop backpacks. If you know, they were the cutest. Skip Hop? Maybe that wasn't the brand. But there was like an owl, there was I don't even know, maybe there's a monkey, whatever. And he was gonna start preschool, and I wasn't gonna buy one because I couldn't afford one. But I was like, he was trying them on in the store, and I was like gonna, I don't know, like figure out which one he wanted, maybe put it on his like birthday list, wish list or something. And then I don't know how it happened, but we walked out of the store. I don't know if maybe he was like having a meltdown, or we had to leave, or I just got distracted. Like I have a 3-year-old running around, and I didn't notice until we got back to the vehicle, and I was putting him in his car seat, and he was wearing the backpack. And I was like, oh my God, we just walked out of that store. And I was like, nobody stopped me. And I just kept the backpack. I don't know what I was thinking, but I kept the backpack. It wasn't like we have like a mom and pop kids store here, like family owned, and we have like a giant, conglomerate. If I'd accidentally done that to the other store, I would have felt worse, and I would have gone back in. And I think for me, that could have, like, if I was a worse person, could have led me down a destructive path that was like, oh, I got away with it. I could keep doing it. Okay, then the third time I stole something, it wasn't this pillow, but it was the last pillow I owned, because I am a pillow girl. I'm a texture girl. I'm very, very picky when it comes to pillows, and there's no way for me to express it to you how selective I am about pillows. I'll show you a horrifying photo. I'll probably crop it as small as I can because my bedroom is horrific looking. But in my teenage years, this is all the pillows that were on my bed. A lot of these were handmade. I would take old shirts and I would stuff them, and I would experiment with all different types of stuffing. I would buy stuffed animals at Value Village, and I would rip them open just to have their stuffing, because I wanted to figure out how to make the perfect pillow. And I would cut up shirts and I would sew them. I had a sewing machine, and I've always had a real problem finding the right pillow. This is me just justifying stealing. I so easily get a headache. I get pain. Like, I'm so picky when it comes to pillows. My husband could tell you, like, I have a real problem. So one time we were on a trip, and I brought my pillow. There's no way I can't sleep with a hotel pillow, an Airbnb pillow, like my friends' pillows. I bring a pillow everywhere I go. Absolutely everywhere. Even if it's super inconvenient, I'm bringing a pillow. So I brought my pillow, and we stayed in a hotel, and I left my pillow, and I was devastated. Like, I can't tell you how. Actually, oh my God, there was another time I lost my pillow. And we ran it over. I took it to the drive-in movie theater, and we were driving out, and I don't remember what happened. The back was open.
Yeah, we left the door open when we pulled, because we were parked on a slope. So when we pulled out of the slope, your pillow rolled out.
We must have backed up to find it, and
Yeah.
we ran it over. When I find the perfect pillow, it's for some reason impossible for me to ever recreate that pillow. Like the pillows that I find that are perfect, I can never find them again. This is how out of my mind I am. I found this one pillow at Walmart of all places, probably like 6 years ago. And it has this very specific like blue webbing to it. And I drove hours to different Walmarts trying to find this pillow. The same brand was there, they would say it was the same style. I would go online and I would search it and it would say, oh, it's in stock. And I would go and it was like a slightly different blue. And it's a completely different feeling. And I could never find them online. And I've been to so many, me justifying stealing. But I left a pillow in a hotel, and you would think, yeah, we've all done that. We've all left things in hotels and then you just go back and get it, or they mail it to you or whatever. I left it in a hotel where we were at a ferry terminal, and the next morning we got on a ferry, and we got on a 3-hour ferry. So I was a 3-hour ferry ride away from my pillow. There was no way I was getting it back. And we were about to go on like a week-long vacation, stay in all of these different vacation rentals. And I was so distraught about my pillow, and I knew I couldn't like find a good, I think we went to a couple different stores to try to find one. And I just couldn't find something that was comfortable. And so I was like, whatever, I'll just sleep with the pillow in the first Airbnb that we stay in. I'll just suck it up, and then we'll go to the next city and we'll try again to find a good pillow. Like me ruining our entire vacation because I'm desperately trying to not have a miserable sleep. Every time, like, there's this question that's like, if you could only take, what are the 3 things you would take to a desert island? One of mine is a pillow. If anyone ever asks, like, oh, if you, for the rest of your life, could only have a pillow or a blanket, I feel like so many people say blanket. It's pillow. It's pillow. I need a comfy pillow. That's all I need in my life to be happy, I swear. So the first Airbnb that we go to, the perfect pillow. I couldn't believe it. It was the most comfortable thing I've ever put my head on, better than any pillow I've ever bought in my entire life. So I looked it up, and we've done this before. We went and stayed in a B&B in Campbell River. No, I don't know where it was. We slept on a mattress. Literally a week later, we went home and bought that mattress. Like, I'm so easily convinced by comfort. So I felt this pillow and I was like, I love it. It was Calvin Klein. This was all there was on it. It was this. And I tried so hard to find the pillow online, and I couldn't find it anywhere. I searched and searched and searched because I was like, this is my perfect pillow. I have to have it. Couldn't find it. So I took it. I just took it from this poor Airbnb lady's house. But here's the thing. There were like 17 of them. I could have taken 2. I could have taken 3, and she never would have noticed. It was this beautiful basement suite. There was like 4 of them on the bed. And then what clinched it for me is we opened up the hide-a-bed for Liam to sleep on, and there was like 7 of them crammed in the bottom, like squished with the mattress. And I was like, she doesn't even care about her pillows. She's not showing them the respect they deserve. So I took it. I absolutely took it. I didn't even feel bad about it. I've slept on it for the last like 5 years. And yeah, Rob finally found them at Costco. It was that easy. They were at Costco this entire time. I do think it's slightly different, but I've been sleeping on this for a couple days now, and it's perfect. It's the pillow that I had before. It took 5 whole years to like squish it and ruin it and not be comfortable anymore. So now I know this is gonna last me forever. And like, there's part of me that's like, should I email this Airbnb lady? Should I give her some money? Should I mail her this pillow? How much was it? It's not expensive, right?
2-pack was $37.
It's not even an expensive pillow. I've spent so much more on such worse pillows. Anyway, thanks for listening. Those are the 3 bad things that I've done in my life. If I were ever to be canceled for something, I guess it's that. Liam had a hockey game today. It didn't go great, but it wasn't as bad as we thought it could. And then they had this really fun skills competition they put on at the tournament. And like, one player was chosen from each team. One to do like a backwards skating challenge. If you ever watched the NHL one, it's like that. Accuracy and shooting. And Liam got chosen to do a breakaway, like goalie versus player. And he did well. He got a couple goals, and now he's in the pool. I'm finally gonna start this. Star-crossed sweethearts, Magnolia Parks and BJ Valentine must finally face the question they've been avoiding all their lives. How many loves do you get in a lifetime, and are they each other's? In the first book, the thing is, like, I can't really spoil the series because the whole series is about these couples who like have to be together. And therefore it feels like a romance, but it's not, because they're so destructive towards each other. They can never really commit. And so we just watch them struggle. It's going to be every single book. So at the beginning, I'm sure they're going to be madly in love. And by the end, they're going to be like broken up again. All right, let's talk. Oh no, there's somebody who wants to park here. I'm technically parked in the wrong place because this parking lot is annoying. Now I'm worried someone's going to pull up and yell at me for being in the curbside zone. And there's plenty of other space. Anyway, okay. I am 118 pages in, the first 19 chapters, and it was a lot of reminiscing. It was a lot of giving Magnolia and BJ a bit of a backstory, which has been really devastating. Seeing their emotions as they went through what they went through, and it gives a lot more of a reason why like they feel so connected, but also why they're both damaged. That's probably not a very nice word to use in this scenario. They just like why they're struggling. And I just really struggle with how to talk about this. Like I'm trying to make a vlog out of just 2 books, and I'm realizing sequels aren't really the best way to do that, because I shouldn't be telling you much about this at all. So I don't know. I guess like you already know that Magnolia and BJ are destined to be together, but there's a lot in the way, including themselves. They're getting in their own way of being together. I need to update you that I watched The Substance, and I need to tell you because I watched it and it was fucked up. And I think it's pretty cool that I didn't get spoiled for any of that. Nothing. If you now, because I was looking up like Substance Valentine's Day cards, so I could, oh, here's the Valentine's card I made, not for my husband. I was looking up cards, something to post on Instagram. Here's the little card I made for Rob. But I was looking up things online to do with The Substance, and I got spoiled for all of the like imagery, and I'm glad I didn't see any of that. So if you haven't seen The Substance, know that the body horror is out the wazoo, and I gave it a 4 out of 5. I thought it was fantastic, and I see why it's up for some awards. Not very much horror is. I think in the history of all of the Oscars, only like 6 horror movies have ever been nominated. Is it for anything, or maybe it's specifically for Best Picture? Love seeing horror get some representation, and I think it was really good. It was really disgusting. Maybe I'll put in a couple clips of me watching it and just my face. The members we had a good time together. Oh my. Oh my god, she's losing her fucking mind. Oh my god. Ew, 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 ew. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Oh no. Oh my god, enough. Just throw her out the window or something. All that jazzercise has made her endurance just unreal. Oh. Oh my fucking god. Okay, end of chapter 20. We're in BJ's perspective. He says, "We have so much history, too much. I catch her eye to soften the blow. He's talking to some girl. Oh my god, why are you so close to my face? Back up. Try to make it sound like having too much history with Magnolia Parks isn't the mounted deer I'll hang in the hallway of who I am. Like loving her isn't the first thing you see when you walk through the door of me." Okay, and then let's see, where is my bookmark? 15 pages later, the only note that I took in this chapter is BJ is a fucking asshole. We hate him and we love him in equal measure. Chapter 37. Chapter 37. I'm back on the BJ train. I'm swooning. Like, oh my god. BJ sucks. Here's what I'll say about the first part. How many parts are there? Half of this was like reflecting on their relationship and half of it was currently what they're dealing with. And what I will say is it feels, I'm enjoying the flashback so much more. Well, because we're getting to see them like in love and innocent before, you know, terrible things are happening between them, and they're being betrayed. But the other half feels a little bit manufactured in the way that watching, like, once you get to season, I'm sure this is true for like any show, but like the third, fourth season of Gossip Girl or Pretty Little Liars, where the conflict seems too manufactured. It doesn't really feel authentic to the characters you've gotten to know. And it's easy to step outside of your own enjoyment and the fictional universe and think this is just being created to further a story and to make money and to continue the seasons of the show. Like the first book was definitely messy between these two, but they were also, we were just getting to know them as characters. They were making bad choices, they were hurting each other. It was a lot of melodrama. By the time we're here, we have seen their connection and we've seen everything that they've been through in the first book, and then the melodrama continues even though it's the same conflict. Like the conflict is so recycled, and so I respect and appreciate that she is giving a lot of backstory, Jessa Hastings, and she is letting us see their love story like from the beginning. We get little moments in the past, and that's necessary because if this was just 500 pages of current day drama, I would feel this even more so. But it's just like we've seen their connection, we've seen them hurt each other, we've seen them get over it, and the story's not over. So now they have to do the same thing. We see them connect, we see them hurt each other, they get over it, they hurt each other, they get over it. It feels less authentic every time it happens. And I think what I want is for there to be more events. I remember saying this maybe about the first book in the series, unless I was talking about a totally different book and my memory is just weird. But I want them to have more events to go to. I get that they're not teenagers, so like talking about prom or whatever else doesn't really apply, but they're rich socialites, and I just feel like there should be more like balls, there should be weddings, there should be like moments where everyone's coming together regularly, rather than just these like random little trips. It's just like, oh, we're going shopping for the day and then we're going to argue at the end of the night. Because them like showing up at parties or showing up at clubs just feels a little bit undescriptive. And I want them to be like, I want them to have moments leading up to something, like planning an event, and then everybody's there and then bad things are happening. It's a New Year's Eve party. Okay, I'm back in. Oh no, they're already at the party. No build up, but shit's definitely about to hit the fan. I need to read Julian's perspective so bad. I need to know what he's thinking in these moments, and now I wish I was tandem reading this with the next Daisy book. The fact that I know there's a book that has Julian's perspective, and that might be why we're getting so little of certain moments between him and Magnolia are cut a little bit short. I need to know what he's thinking. I never thought that Julian would win me over, but I'm a little bit obsessed.
Nice move. No!
Oh my God, the kids just won both of their games today. One was a shutout. They've never had that much success at a tournament. So I actually have to make this clip short because I don't have enough memory card to film like 5 whole hockey games. And on the off chance that tomorrow they have to play 2 games, like they end up in the winning game, I don't think that's where they're at in this. I don't know. Oh my God, the adrenaline watching that last game was great. I wasn't filming, another parent was filming on my camera, and so I actually got to like fully be immersed in the game. Jesus. Okay. Where am I at? I'm now at like 50 chapters in, and I'm still absolutely eating it up. Magnolia has 2 different boys she's dealing with at once. One of them is horrifically jealous and possessive, and the other one is intent on making the other one incredibly jealous. So it's just a dynamic that I adore. It's unhealthy and it's toxic, and in this series I'm obsessed. Oh, we also got an explanation of where the title came from, The Long Way Home, and it was devastating. Oh my gosh, my cheeks are so pink. We were just hanging out in the breakfast room of our hotel, watching Canada versus the States, and now it's about to be an intermission. So I'm gonna continue in this. I've got like a quarter to go, and I just keep thinking I want Julian's perspective of everything that's happening. I want to know how he actually feels about Magnolia, or if he's doing things just to make BJ jealous. Not that it matters, because like Magnolia and BJ like are the OTP, as we used to call it. Do people still use that? Just like reading Daisy's book, there were multiple characters that I was like, I'm fine with Daisy being with any of them. And now with Magnolia, there are multiple people that I'm like, yeah, I like Jessa Hastings writes such compelling. It's not even that they have really strong personalities. It's that their dialogue is just so juicy. At the end of chapter 62, somebody says, "You love him. I love no one." And that like means nothing. It doesn't feel like anything. But in the context of the conversation and the story, ugh. It is snowing pretty badly. The kids just lost a game, which is really sad. But they still have one more to go for third. Is it third? And I just need to warm up in here, and I'm gonna finish my book. Obviously the end is gonna get like dramatic and leave us hanging for the next thing. So I'm prepared for that. What the fuck? That ending was not what I thought was gonna happen in this book. Oh my god. I'm so sad. I'm giving it a 4. I liked it as much as Daisy Hates, not as much as the first book. Yeah, I really don't have any thoughts to add besides what I said before. Like, it really is the same vibe throughout the entire book, and it's just the ups and downs of this relationship. There's certain resolutions that are good, and there are certain things I have questions about, and I need to read the companion soon. But also I need to read, like, on in the series, because I need to know, like, how people are going to recover from what just happened. There's only one more book in the Magnolia Parks part. Like, there's 3 books in the Magnolia Parks universe. And so even reading the next book isn't going to give me a resolution to BJ Magnolia's story. I don't know, like halfway through, I felt the itch to continue right away. I was like, I have to know Daisy's perspective and Julian's perspective. But at this point, I don't feel that way. I'm like, I've had enough. Like 500 pages was a lot. And now I can wait another month. Let's talk about Water Moon and the fact that I don't know yet if I like it. I'm halfway through. I can't figure out if it's a book for me, and I think it's gonna take until the end for me to know for sure. It's so beautiful. I can't stop staring at it. So this story is about a woman named Hannah, and she lives with her father. They run a pawn shop, but they're like, it's not on Earth. They're not humans necessarily. They have this like other realm that they are from, and they encounter humans when they enter the pawn shop by accident. Basically, people will stumble in. They meant to go into a ramen shop, and they will end up in the pawn shop, and her father will like greet each customer and sit them down and give them a cup of tea and figure out like one of their life regrets or one of the choices that they're having difficulty with or made in the past that they're struggling with. And the pawn shop exists, like you trade your regrets. And then Hannah and her father like kind of sell them. There's this group of people or entities called the Shequin, and they come by and they like collect things. And where we kick the story off, we get to see her father welcome someone into the shop and the whole process and how it works. A fantastic way to get the explanation without like info dumping too much. And then he is retiring, but the way that he's speaking to Hannah as he's like telling her everything, like how to run the store and how it's going to be hers now, sounds more like he's planning on disappearing, and then the next day he does. He's gone, and she now has to run this store by herself, but she's also questioning where he is and if she should go after him and try to find him. There are some secrets that are revealed, and also the She-Quinn is looking for him, and she's trying to protect herself, her business, her father from this group. But it is like a cozier vibe, and she early on meets this human named Cation, and they go on like a quest together to find her father, and they're pretty cute right away. It's a little like, I guess you'd call it insta love. I don't know, I feel like a little bit removed, and I don't know how to explain it. There's something about the writing that is leaving something to be desired. But I also think maybe it's intentional. I don't know. The dialogue is really stilted to me. It doesn't feel as descriptive as it should, or as it could. It feels like a translation, or written by somebody who this isn't their first language, which may very well be true. And it's coming across. But not all the time. Like, there are beautiful quotes, like tabbable quotes. There was one that I just read about seasons. There's something about autumn that makes things more beautiful. Out of all the seasons, it's the most honest about time. It's the most honest about time. Summer and spring blind you to its passing with their colorful displays. Winter paints over everything in white, but autumn is not shy about things coming to an end. It welcomes it, waving leafy flags of red, yellow, and gold. It celebrates its sadness. I love that. So I think it just feels a little bit jarring between that, the beautiful paragraphs and descriptive scene setting and thoughts of our main character, but then the actual action of the book and the plot feels stilted. The dialogue between these two could be as equally lush and moving, but it's not. And it's just leaving me feeling a little bit weird about it overall. The way that this story is going is, I feel as though I'm supposed to care as much about this relationship as with our main character's journey of like finding her father and the quest. Like, it is a cozy fantasy romance, but I don't feel the romance the way that I want to. It's like teasing it, but the way that the characters feel about each other so quickly does feel very like emotional, but the writing isn't portraying that. Does that make any sense? I don't know. Let me check in with you though once another quarter has gone by, and I'll see if I feel anything more. I'm headed to bed, but I wanted to give you an update on my reading first. I must admit, I am bored. I don't feel super invested in these characters. I think the world is very unique and interesting, and this concept is super fun, and I'm as interested in that as I was when I originally heard it pitched. I just don't feel like anything. I don't feel really invested in these characters. Their romance was too fast. I don't really buy it. And I think it's kind of uneven as far as tone. And this is an issue I've had with so many cozy fantasies. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't a vulgar scene, and it wasn't even a sex scene, really. But the little scene that there was threw me the fuck off. It just felt so out of place and so random, and I wanted to like it. I wanted to feel like tenderness and the love of these two characters, but it just did not fit the vibe of the rest of the story, and I feel weird about it. I think these two should have just had like a more platonic love. They could have just been these friends, these partners going on this journey together. I guess like it would be hard to pull that off, because what would his reason really be for accompanying her on this entire quest if not because he's in love with her? But I am certainly not shipping them, and that is, I would say, a half to 2/3 of the enjoyment of the book. It's them as a couple. You're supposed to like them as a couple. It's like if you read Emily and Wendell and Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies and you didn't like their relationship. It's like, well, what's the point? Like, you aren't continuing in the series, obviously. Speaking of that, actually, I picked up my pre-order. I'm so excited to read this. This is actually the companion with this, like, for my besties book club. We read 2 books at a time, and then we have a live show. So if you want to talk about either of these in March with me, that link is down below for you to join. I also got some other fun fantasy things. This one I got abducted by aliens and now I'm trapped in a rom-com, so I definitely want to read this by the end of the month. And The Baby Dragon Cafe arrived, which has a different release date in the UK versus North America, so I ordered it from the UK. It did take a while to get here, at a much quicker timeline than the real publication schedule, which I don't think that comes out until like summer here. So that's the update on the book and books that I've hauled. What else? I didn't give you an update about the tournament, if anybody cares. They got 4th place, which, you know, is good for them, and I think gives them some encouragement going into playoffs, which will be fun. That's in a couple weeks, and usually we have to go out of town for it. Usually it's like far away and we're there for days. This one, it's local, like our city is kind of hosting it, so that will be nice. Tomorrow I have to go get my windshield replaced, so I think I'll finish this while I wait or whatever I end up doing. All right, I got a new windshield. Want to see? You won't be able to tell the difference because I didn't show you the windshield when it was broken. But we were going up to the ski hill like 2 months ago now and got pinged by a little rock, and it just... Anyway, I finished Watermoon. And I don't know my rating. I don't know. I want to give it like a 3, but the way that I'm about to speak about it sounds like a lower rating. So perhaps I have to decide it's a 2.75, and my battery light's flashing. This was like tedious to get through. Like honestly, the second half, I kept not wanting to pick it up. Like I've been reading this for multiple days. That is not like me. I was just checking reviews because I don't do that until I've read a book. And a lot of people weirdly had the exact same thing to say about me as far as the dialogue and the prose not matching up and being very different. And that being something people weren't enjoying. And because so many people mention it, like I'm starting to wonder if it's intentional by the author to evoke a certain vibe or be reminiscent of a certain other type of media, maybe that I'm not familiar with. I found another battery in my bag. It's tough because when I read certain genres or subgenres that I don't typically read, then people, including me, want to make blanket statements about my relationship with that genre or subgenre. Meanwhile, I love half of the horror that I read and hate half of the horror that I read, but because I read so much of it, I say that I love it because there's just such a large amount of it. And then when I read cozy fantasy, most of the ones that I read I don't end up liking, and then we might surmise I don't like cozy fantasy, I should stop picking up cozy fantasy. I don't think that's true. I think it's just like this specific book, the things that it offered didn't specifically work for me. And my relationship with whimsy is a little bit at odds for sure. But as far as the surreal dreamlike quality of this type of book, I should hold it up while I talk about it. I tend to like things like this, things that don't have hard fantasy rules. It's just fun and interesting and many things are happening. I just think at the end of the day, the quest adventure element of this wasn't my favorite. I would have liked to spend more time in certain spaces within the narrative, especially the beginning when we're in the pawn shop. A little more time there before we whisked off on an adventure would have been fun. The journey and the stakes themselves didn't feel incredibly established beyond just her needing to find her father. There wasn't that much really moving the plot along. We were just meandering in all of these different directions. And because there was a purpose, I know there was a purpose, but I didn't feel like there was a purpose. We were just encountering all of these different things and telling some stories and getting some lessons. On paper, it's a good book. But in reality, I felt like the storyline was really clunky, how we got from one place to another, and I never felt any tension. And you could say that's something that is intentionally absent from a cozy fantasy to elicit the cozy feeling. I just didn't have a great time, and it's such a shame because it's so beautiful. I do think that I'm wanting to give it a 3 so I can justify keeping it. But I don't think this is one that I should. It really wasn't for me, but there were so many elements that were. It's so difficult when a book exists like this that doesn't wrong me in any way, that doesn't do anything offensive, and I just have no feelings towards it. I could not connect to these characters. I was not given evidence of their relationship, and that is really a driving force of the story. I did appreciate, not like, but appreciate the ending because it leaves a lot to discuss in the live show with my channel members. So that's my takeaway for this. I think a lot of people will still really enjoy this, but I'm not like the cozy fantasy aficionado, so I can't necessarily tell you who I can't recommend it to a specific person or even comparable books that I think you would, if you like those, you'd like this. So I don't know, I'm leaving it here at a 2.75. Magnolia Parks, The Long Way Home was a 4. I'm taking that as a win. Somehow a video with only 2 books in it, I make just as long as my vlogs with 7. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next month with the next one. If you have any recommendations for something with a book on the cover and what was the word? Thing in the title. There's only one I can think of. And it doesn't intrigue me the most because it's YA. If you have any adult books that you know have thing in the title and you have found a cover with a book on it, please let me know. I've been scouring through our storygraph group and I'm just not finding anything that fulfills both of the prompts that I really want to read. And so I might be reading, finally, in the 3rd episode, a book for each prompt, but that means I'm not continuing in a series. So I have to figure that out. Give me some advice and your thoughts down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye!